Plug in that lava lamp and fire up your floppy disks. You've landed on the Gen X Files. While you do your best to keep your Tamagotchi alive, these guys will work to untangle the phone cords.
I'm going to have some fun tonight. I'm going to call the 7000 party line. Hope you're there.
Here's Jason Blank, Sean Knowles, and Greg Minka.
Well, it's been a little while since we've connected. Sean is here. It's just you can't see him. We thought we'd give you guys a break from Sean's face this week. And we just, ouch. It's all love, Sean, He's coming to us live from the Machichi Studios.
That's correct.
Yeah. So, no video that available right now in Machichi, but Greg and I are here, and Sean is here, and thought we'd talk a little bit about some TV sitcoms. The reason I kind of thought this would be kind of cool to talk about is a couple TV stars from our history actually just passed away this last little while. George Wendt from Cheers, and Loretta Swit from MASH.
Yeah.
So I know, right? So I thought we'd get into some of our favorite sitcoms from back in the 70s, 80s, and 90s. So Sean, we'll let you start. What was one of your favorites?
Well, the first thing I ever remember watching, it wasn't a sitcom. It was an hour-long show, and it's never been able to be replicated appropriately. Was V. And I remember watching that with my dad when I was a kid, and I don't know if that was a really appropriate thing for him to watch with me, but
yeah.
I've always been afraid of sand sharks now for my whole life. But I think my earliest memory of a sitcom that I really liked was probably Elf.
Yeah, Elf was a good one.
Or Mork and Mindy.
That's another winner, right? I love how Mork and Mindy was kind of an idea that came from Happy Days. Like, because Mork from Mork was actually a guest star on Happy Days, and he had got his own television show, and then Robin Williams became this gigantic star, which rightfully so. But all stemmed from Happy Days, which is a show that I remember watching after school every single day. I'm still a huge fan of Henry Winkler just because of that show.
Yeah.
Greg, what about yourself, man?
Well, Sean, I concur. I remember I didn't see V, but I saw V: The Final Battle, the second one, and I vividly remember staying up at like 9:30 at night, watching that with my parents, and it really freaked me out, especially with the whole mouse and reveal and everything. But actually, it's I did hear that Hot Lips Houlihan did pass away, Loretta Swit. MASH was a staple in our house, watching it 6:30 every night. We'd have our TV tables out downstairs in our family room, right? But we all have our seats. We have our TV dinner, TV tables, and we watch MASH, and really enjoyed that show. And I feel like on the heels of that, either before or after was Three's Company, which obviously enjoyed that as well. There is a lot to love about late 70s, early 80s sitcoms. Of course, 90s as well. Yeah. But those were a few.
Yeah, we lived in the sitcom age. Like, really, in all honesty, we lived in the age of the sitcom where I thought everyone wasn't great, but even some of the strange and obscure ones that I still see come up on my TV every once in a while. Like, I remember watching the show Wings. Did you guys ever watch Wings?
Oh, yes. I love Wings.
Exactly, right? And, it was just great writing. Or, of course, Fresh Prince of Bel-Air was huge. Full House was a gigantic one. Friends was big. I think the last real good sitcom was The Big Bang Theory. I still watch that one too, almost on a weekly basis or monthly basis at least. But we got so many really good ones when we were kids. Like you start thinking of some of those classic good 70s ones, like KRP for sure. KRP.
I was just about to say that.
Yeah, well, that's where I got my love of radio. I always wanted to be Dr. Johnny Fever, and now I get to be Dr. Johnny Fever.
Now you are.
Exactly, right? But KRP was, and for me, it seemed like that show was on forever. But it wasn't. It was only on for a few seasons, right? Welcome Back, Kotter. Like, that one there is really where John Travolta kind of got his start. But, that was the show, the writing wasn't fantastic, but I was entertained and I watched those shows. And I find that our kids nowadays don't get that opportunity because we had so many great shows. Like I talked about this on my radio show, is every show had a great song associated with it too, right?
Yeah.
Like the sitcoms had such great ones, like, Just the Good Old Boys.
Yeah. Never meaning no harm.
Exactly, right?
Trouble with the law since the day they were born. Yeah.
And it's
When I was at Barrett Jackson last time, they had all of the vehicles from the Dukes of Hazzard. Every single one of them was awesome.
yeah, like Boss Hogg's car with the horns on the front.
Yeah.
Like, come on. Like, who didn't love that car? But, there's one there, or, well, everybody, like, Cheers, Making Your Way in the World Today.
Yeah.
Yeah, right? So we were so lucky to have TV sitcoms with music involved with it. And I think that's one thing that's missing right now in today's TV shows, because that was the hook. That's what got us to love the show, honestly, subconsciously, I think, was the song got stuck in your head, and then you're like, oh, I gotta watch that show again. And like Full House, the same thing. Like the show wasn't fantastic, but it was good. Or Friends, like all of them.
Yeah.
Even Seinfeld with its annoying guitar riff, But that's it. Right?
I have an idea for you and Greg.
Okay.
And this is going to take you have to get a helicopter.
That's a prerequisite.
Yeah,
you have to get a helicopter. Oh, all right. That was gonna be hard.
And
where's my?
But and then you can do the giveaway, guys. Because give away frozen turkeys. They just drop them from the helicopter.
Right. Yeah, I know. I was wondering if anyone was gonna make that correlation with Les Nessman.
Well, he was the guy on the Herb Tarlick came up with the idea. Nessman was down on he was the reporter. I would be the reporter guy. Yeah, there's no doubt about it. I'd be the reporter at the shopping mall where the turkeys are flying down. Yeah, let's do it. I think so. I think we could pull it off.
How's the radio station's liability? It's got to be good, right?
Yeah. As God is my witness, I thought turkeys could fly.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
So let's say we were to build a sitcom, like what part of a sitcom do you think is really missing now? Like if you were to make your own sitcom from the stuff that we watched, I tell you, what would you do?
Well, something that's actually funny, and that sounds like a prerequisite, but I think a lot of shows these days, if you watch sitcoms of the newer ones, anything past The Big Bang Theory, they're not funny anymore. They don't seem like they have that little bit of edginess plus that little bit of heart, and I think maybe that's what's missing.
I think so. Although I do like Tim Allen's newest one. I can't remember what the show's called. It doesn't have a catchy song, so I haven't watched it lots. But but yeah, like even Home Improvement was a great one. But I agree. And that's the thing. It's got to be funny, but it's also got to have a little bit of family carrying into it, I guess. But yeah, I don't know if I've always, what show I always loved, of course, and it's not a sitcom, but it's something that I've always thought would be fun to try to do. Would be like a sketch comedy, like SCTV. Like,
no,
like,
yeah, and we'll put everything in 3D, right? I guess you can see, Sean. Can you see? Yeah,
I can see it.
I just did my 3D cup. Yeah.
And if you're doing SCTV, can we throw in a gray husky, maybe?
A gray husky.
Oh, wait, no, sorry. Was it a German Shepherd, the little hobo?
Oh, yes.
Oh, yes. Yeah.
You're right.
He's kind of grayish too, right?
Yep.
Yeah,
for sure.
Maybe tomorrow I'll want to settle down until tomorrow. Wait a minute, Jason, you put that on your Jason. Don't you have that on your show, right?
I do, exactly.
Right,
Thanks,
okay.
Greg. See, I appreciate that because I end my morning show with that one I usually throw it in once a week, random day, and it's funny because there's a girl that works over at one of the banks in town. And she says, I hate when you do that because it just makes me cry. Because the littlest hobo is leaving again. And I'm like,
Yeah.
that's not why I do it. It's just so that you remember, like, because that's our generation, right?
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I think we could throw in Littlest Hobo there. Yeah, I think that's great. Or
Yeah.
maybe we could throw in some Relic from the Beachcombers. Why not?
Yeah, yeah.
I think so.
Yeah. That, just circling back to SCTV, watch that at 11 o'clock, whatever it was, 11:30 Friday nights, I think it was, or Saturday nights, but really enjoyed it. But you look back at the talent that was on that show,
And
at
based
the
in
time.
Edmonton. Like, it was in
Yeah,
Edmonton,
yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah, like John Candy, Eugene Levy was there. Martin
Yeah.
Short was on that show.
Yeah. Catherine O'Hara,
Yeah.
Joe Flaherty. Yeah. Like, yeah.
Oh, I know.
Yeah, it was really it was really good. They came and filmed they filmed a commercial on downtown Leduc around 1981, 1982. I found actually the commercial on YouTube, and I sent it to my mom and my friend, to Troy and all that, right? And SCTV was a great show.
It's so cool because what I love about it too is it's like small town television, right? And it's gone past, like it's past its time per se, but there was some great segments, like some amazing segments that you still laugh. And like Saturday Night Live just celebrated its 50th year, which a lot of those people that were on SCTV went and played some role on Saturday Night Live. And like you think of some of the greats in Saturday Night Live, like Steve Martin's been on there for how many times? Dan Aykroyd was just a gem. And then, the 90s era when we had Dana Carvey, Mike Myers, so
Sandler.
Yeah, like Adam Sandler, like all these
Norm
guys.
Macdonald.
Yeah, Norm was so good. So we were so lucky to be able to watch these shows. And like, it's funny because you see kids now that they go and find this stuff on YouTube, or they find all this classic stuff on YouTube and things like that. But we got to live through this stuff. And like, I remember every Saturday night, that was the rule. Like, you had to be home by 11 o'clock so that way you could watch SNL. Or Thursday nights, you didn't book anything Thursday nights because you knew that Friends was going to be on Thursday nights.
Yeah. Friends was huge.
Exactly. So now with PVRs and everything like that, it doesn't matter anymore on what day or what time. And I find I don't even watch the major networks anymore. We used to watch, for me, in Saskatchewan, I had CTV and CBC. Those were my two choices until we moved to the city, and then we got cable, and then I could watch NBC and CBS and all that stuff. But it's funny to this day, because when we were in Swift Current, we would always get the Detroit channels, and they still run some of the commercials on the Detroit channels. And on my other podcast with my cousin Grant, we talk about that lots, because we still watch WDIV out of Detroit, or WXYZ, the ABC channel. And it's amazing how you resonate with even those channels. Like, back in the day. But
you talk about the Beachcombers.
Greg and
oh, sorry, go ahead, Sean.
Oh no, I was going to say, I bet Greg and I had the same affiliates for CBS and NBC out of Spokane, Washington.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
And I did when I moved here.
Talk about Beachcombers, brought to you by Petrocan, right?
Just pulled that one right out of the sky.
Entertainment. Petrocan. No, it's for sure. It's what we watch. I didn't watch a lot of CBC. Like, Kids in the Hall was pretty popular. I didn't actually watch much of it, but it seemed to have some pretty good following as well.
Squishing your head.
Nothing will ever top the Bob and Doug McKenzie.
Yes, Bob and Doug were awesome on SCTV, and it's really cool because I've got because Dave Thomas, of course, was on SCTV. Well, Ian Thomas plays on my station all the time, and that's Dave's brother. So I use that as I always bring that up. That's why Bob and Doug actually probably got their own music, because I actually play Bob and Doug McKenzie on the radio every once in a while, especially at Christmas.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's probably why, because Ian Thomas was a huge star back in the 70s, and Dave Thomas is his brother. There you go. But and that too, SCTV, like, Bob and Doug McKenzie got a movie deal, like a Canadian movie deal.
Yeah.
Yeah. It probably wasn't very big though. Like I think nobody in the States probably watched it, but we all did. And I still see the movie. Like I've watched the movie, and it was, I wasn't going to movies at that time when that came out, but I've seen the movie. Just because it's Bob and Doug.
I was
great.
I was watching, I actually, not knowing, for the one listener, my mom, we don't normally talk about any kind of like, we don't tee up any topics until we maybe 2 or 3 minutes before we go start recording. But this one we kind of talked about a little bit, a couple weeks ago when we got delayed. So sorry guys that I wasn't able to join, but suspiciously enough, some stuff came up my YouTube feed, circling back about TV sitcoms and when they jumped the shark. And so I had some good stuff watching that, or when they added those cute characters, like the cute little kid characters. You kind of knew that they were trying to stretch it out, or spin-offs. Like, who would have thought that the Ropers would have been able to hold their own show after they left Three's Company? But it was really it was quite interesting. There's some stuff that I had totally forgot about.
Well, what was the other spinoff? There was another spinoff of Three's Company too. Was it Two's a Crowd?
Yeah, it's Three's a Crowd.
Three's a Crowd.
It's Jack and his fiance. They were living together over the bistro, Jack's restaurant, and and they had to. Yeah, that's I actually that only lasted. I think it was only one season.
Yeah. And you remember it. That's what I love about that, Craig, because I remember just the name, and you remember. Oh yeah, he lived above Jack's Bistro, and
yeah. But no, even just where characters. I had a top 10 come up of actors who thought that they were maybe bigger than the show, and they actually mentioned how Farrah Fawcett, after first year Charlie's Angels, wanted more money. Same thing with Suzanne Summers after I think season 2 or 3 of Three's Company, so they slowly moved her out, right? And then the cousin Cindy came in, and then Terry was in for the final run. But just hearing all that, or I didn't watch NYPD Blue, but even David Caruso, after the first season, so it was actually pretty interesting to hear. But yeah.
Well, okay, so let's do a little transition, because we'll stay in the television era. So, and you guys talked about V as the 1 hour shows. So like, for me, again, it's amazing how music and television hook together. Like I watched CSI, the first CSI, CSI Vegas, like the original CSI.
Yeah.
Probably because the intro song was done by The Who. And then all the other CSIs that were ever created, they also used Who songs to connect them. But even those 1 hour shows, like even Law and Order, like the original Law and Order was so much better. I still watch Law and Order now. But the original Law and Order, like even the 1 hour shows from back in our era were so much better. I thought, like, even here's one for you guys, Quantum Leap. Do you remember?
Oh, I love Quantum Leap.
Yeah.
Yes, Scott Bakula.
Exactly. Right.
That's right.
And that was such a great show. I thought it was a show before its time, honestly, because it's and it kept me every week. I wanted to watch to see where he was going to leap to next.
Yeah.
But television nowadays, like if you don't have Apple or Prime or Netflix, like there are good shows on Prime and Crave. Like I love Shoresy. I don't get to watch it, but it's funny. Like Jared Keogh he's awesome. Like Letterkenny's fantastic as well. But the major networks, they've kind of lost their luster, and it's all on this pay-per-view stuff now.
Well, all the stuff on streaming online, the amount of money that they throw at those series is just astounding. So the production value is way higher than it is for the networks. Yeah. But I still don't think they're better. Like, to a degree they are, because it's watching really long movies. Like if you think Game of Thrones, Reacher, the 100 other series.
Well, even Yellowstone, Yellowstone's another one,
Yellowstone
for sure.
But if you look at all those and then look back at how much you enjoyed watching Airwolf or Knight Rider or V or any of those shows. Like the actual feeling that emotes inside you is completely different. I still love the Airwolf theme song.
Yeah.
And I think that's still the coolest helicopter that was ever invented.
Yeah, yeah. I'll see your Airwolf, but I'll raise you humbly, Manimal. Are you telling me Manimal? The show where the guy could always turn into an animal, but always chose Puma, I think it was. That was pretty low quality.
Hey, I'm not saying there was all winners. Like there were some bad ones too, because Perfect Strangers
was good.
Which one?
Bad was good, but just like, and I'll take your Manimal and I'll up that with the Incredible Hulk.
Oh yeah, no, of course. Yeah, for sure. Bill Bixby walking that lonely road at the end. Absolutely.
Yeah.
So just bringing up Airwolf, Sean, I gotta ask. So between Blue Thunder and Airwolf, you're going with Airwolf? Yeah, agreed.
Yes. Primarily because of the theme song.
Yeah.
And the helicopter.
Yeah, I know. But they put air. I loved Blue Thunder as a kid. Well, okay, I watched it probably 3 years past its time on VHS that I shouldn't have been watching. But I did enjoy the show. But yeah, Dana Carvey, speaking of NSL, was SNL was Jaffo, and then they added Dick Butkus and the other football player. Remember they drove that the van that supported Blue Thunder? Or maybe that's just me. But anyways, yeah, I did like Blue Thunder, but Airwolf was the better show. Absolutely agreed. Yeah,
and that's why I love our show.
My favorite part.
Go ahead, Sean. Go ahead.
Well, I was going to say my favorite part of watching reruns of old shows is seeing celebrities at their not their lowest, when they're beginning to get into the scene and acting, and it's just a surprise where Courtney Cox just pops up out of nowhere.
Misfits
on like
of Science?
Mike Hammer or something. I can't remember if she's on Mike Hammer, but all the celebrities. What's that?
She was in Misfits of Science, where it was like a clone of the X-Men, and they were this, and it only lasted like half the season. But that one I caught. Yeah, but anyway, sorry, you might be thinking of a different show, but I did enjoy that one.
Okay, don't lie, Greg. You actually have it on video somewhere.
No. No. But I do remember that show because Courtney Cox was in it. Yeah.
There you go. Well, we all loved Courtney Cox. Yeah, for sure. But all right, gentlemen. Well, I see our time is ticking away. We've got about 5 minutes left to go, or anything like that. With this last 5 minutes, what do you guys want to talk about this last 5 minutes? I'll leave it open forum. There we go. Wait,
Greg, what's on your mind?
Nothing on my mind.
No.
Okay. All right. 5 minutes.
Yeah.
We had the graduation of the last couple weeks in our schools here in Drumheller. Quick graduation memories. You guys, round table, go.
I can remember still the red vest and red bow tie. Actually, that was the first time I ever rocked a bow tie. Was for my grad, and I had a red vest, and I looked sharp. I got to tell you, that was probably the best. I think, I looked better then than even my wedding day. I looked better on my grad day because I wore a tuxedo. I didn't wear a tux for my wedding day. So that's my grad memory, is the tuxedo I rocked for grad. It was awesome.
Okay, do I dare ask what grad, what year?
96.
96?
96.
Oh my gosh. All right, Sean, you're up. Grad memories, go.
I graduated in 96, the same as Jason, but nothing really big on my grad. But the second time I wore a tux was at a wedding. It was my brother's wedding, and we rented tuxes for it, obviously. I woke up in the basement of somebody's house, still wearing my tux, covered in muddy cat prints. I have no idea to this day how I got there.
We lost you there, Sean, at the end. It was like,
and yet it's somehow appropriate.
Yeah.
The slurring.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, I'll get.
What about Greg?
Yeah.
Grad 90. a sweet white tuxedo,
Oh,
and
nice.
Of course.
Miami Vice.
Yeah, and a pretty awesome mullet, if I do say so. But it was great times.
I have a favor to ask. Greg, do you have a picture of that? And can you send it to Jason? And can Jason put that on the thumbnail for this video?
Yeah, my white tuxedo.
Yeah.
Well, no, maybe. But I did actually have my yearbook ready, so I can actually see. We can close out the show. Let me just see. Manka. You guys still have your yearbooks?
Oh yeah. Actually, mine.
My sister has mine.
Yeah, mine's here somewhere.
Do quotes? Did you guys do quotes and stuff like that? Was that standard? And where, like, Sean, you were with Tasquin, right?
Yep. Yeah, I was with Tasquin. We did quotes. I don't remember what mine was though.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I don't know if I can get in there.
Oh, look at that! Look at that.
A little bit darker hair, but anyways, yeah.
Nice.
That's fun. So white tuxedo. I'll see if I have a picture. I know my mom's got quite a few of them actually. Good times. Good times.
I love it, man. That's awesome. Yeah, I my quote actually. The only thing I think I have a quote in my yearbook, but I remember my nickname from high school, and it's still written on, like, in DVSS, well, DCHS. We always did the big panels of.
Right.
So my panel is still up there, and I found my name the other day when I was in the school, and my nickname was Stash.
Stash.
Yeah, because that's all I had. It was horrible. It was like the Mexican mustache, like just a little line. Yeah, it was so bad. But for me, I was the only one in our grade that was able to grow it. So that's why I was Stash.
That's. Yeah, right on.
All right, gents. Well, time has ticked away, but always a pleasure joining you guys. This is always so much fun, and I love being able to relive our youth through all of this. Yeah, we got to do this again real soon.
Yes, absolutely. I mean, next time I'm opening a black hole.
All right. On that note,
all right.
Good night, gents.
All right. Good night.
Bye, guys.
See you guys soon. Talk soon.
All right, time to power down our old school computers and flip our CDs back into their cases. Thanks for listening to the Gen X Files. Hosted by Jason Blank, Sean Knowles, and Greg Minka. Production assistance from Scott Mitchell. Produced by Blankman Productions. Remember, be kind, rewind. Quick, rewind it! And keep rocking those aviators and Doc Martens.